So in yesterday's class, we had a brief introduction about what is Python and what is Django and what are the how web works and what are the what is front end, what is back end. Okay, so we got brief introduction. And also we are introduced to Python. Okay, so in Python we have learned about what are variables and what are the types that are available in Python. So let's continue today with data structures. Okay, am I audible or any audio issues? Can anyone confirm about it? Am I audible? Sitaram, am I audible? I guess you guys are trying to talk, but your voice is not audible. Okay, you can message in message box if your audio is not audible to me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, let's continue. So, so data structure. Okay, so data structures are used to store and organize data. Okay, so in previous class we have discussed about all the data types are available in Python. In those data types, there are three data structures that are used to different types of data and used to store and organize data. Okay, and those common data structures in Python are tuples and dictionaries. Okay, so we had a brief introduction of these three yesterday. Okay, let's have a detailed details about these three data structures in today's class. Okay, firstly, lists. Okay, so list is a mutable ordered sequence of elements. Okay, so mutable in the sense, so it is changeable. Okay, so the data we are in list can be changed. Okay, it can be modified. Modified things are called as mutable. Okay, and ordered sequence. Okay, so the elements we put in that list have an order. Okay, so we can that order can be preserved because it is called as, or that's why it's called an order. Okay, so why it is ordered అనేది let us see in the detailed explanation. Okay, a list can contain elements of different types. Okay, so yesterday I have already shown that list can contain different data. Okay, it's not restricted to one particular data type, like it can store only strings, it can only store numbers, or like other languages. Okay, so in other languages, because we define arrays with data type, that's why it's restricted to one particular data type. Okay, but in Python we don't declare data type, right? So while declaring variables, we don't declare data type, so that's why it has flexibility to hold different types of data type, different types of. Okay, and the syntax for creating lists is, so you can see that, so the variable name equal to, with the square brackets we open the list and we put the elements in that list. Okay, and and those elements can be of any data type. Okay, so let's see a small explanation about this. Okay, so lists are accessed using index. Okay, so you have to understand the concept called as indexing. Okay, so for example, if we are creating a list, for example, consider as alpha. Okay, so in this alphabets, I'm storing just A, B, C, D. Okay, so this list is ordered. Okay, this list is called ordered because it have an index. Okay, so each element have an access address. Okay, so that address is the first element will have access address as 0. Okay, second element will have access address as 1. Okay, third access address as 3. Okay, the fourth element will have access address as 3. Okay, so like this, so each element have an access address. Okay, so this is called as index. Okay, so because of this index, these lists are called as ordered. Okay, so the order we are putting elements is preserved. Okay, so every time we call this list variable, the order is preserved. Okay, so the order will not change because each element have a proper address based on the length of the list. Okay, so to access these elements, we can simply access using these indexes. Okay, so let's see an example on that, then you will understand. Okay, so here I am creating a list called as names. Okay, so in this names I'm having Ram, Raj, Rakesh, Ramesh. Okay, so I'm having some 5 names. Okay, so I have some index. Okay, so to access first element, simply I have to call names square bracket 0. Okay, so I will get the first element. So to access second element, I have to call the 1. Okay, so I will get the second element. Okay, so like this I can access all the elements using index. Okay, so each element have from 0 to the length minus 1. Okay, so this list have four four elements in this list. Okay, so the range of index will be some 0 to 4 minus 1, which is 3. Okay, 0 to 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so like this I can access all the elements in my list. Okay, if I try to access the index that, okay, for example, only here the range is 0 to 3, right? If I try to access 4, I will get an error. Okay, so which says that index out of range. Okay, so the range of this index is just starting from 0 to length minus 1. Okay, so the length of this list minus 1. Okay, just a second, I have to take a call. Okay, from 0 to length minus 1. Okay, and there is negative indexing as well. Okay, so we have seen this positive indexing, and there is negative indexing as well. So negative indexing is, so the last element can be retrieved as minus 1. Okay, and last but not is can be accessed as minus 2. Last but 3 can be accessed as minus 3, and can be accessed as minus 4. Okay, so this is in the reverse order. Okay, and this is in the forward direction. Okay, this is in backward direction, and this is in forward direction. Okay, so this is called indexing, and this is called as negative indexing. Okay, so if you want to access directly in a list, if you want to access directly the last element, simply you can call it by the variable name and -1. Okay, in that case you will get the last element. For example, here I want to get Ramesh. Okay, so simply I can get Ramesh by accessing names -1. Okay, I will get Ramesh as output. Okay, so like this all the elements. Okay, so -3 is Raj. Okay, same way is also you can access only range. Okay, so once it cross the range you will get list index out of range error. Okay, so -1 to length of minus length of your elements in your list. Okay, so in the positive direction the index starts from 0. Okay, and in the negative direction the index starts from -1. Okay, so this is how you can access elements of your list. Okay, and this is called as indexing. Okay, if you have any doubts you can on your mic and talk. Okay, so to create an list in our Python, we use square brackets. Okay, and accessing elements using indexes starting from 0. Okay, just now we have seen the explanation of 0. Okay, and now modifying the list elements. Okay, so lists are so mutable in the sense elements can be changed. Okay, there are some predefined methods, list methods, which are used add data. Okay, so you can add new data or you can replace data using so append method, insert method, and extend method. Okay, and you can remove data using remove method, pop method, and clear method. Okay, so let us see examples of all these methods. Okay, so now let us take fruits. Fruits equal to apple, orange, and grapes. Okay, so add new element. So to add new elements, so if I want to add an element into the fruits dot append parenthesis in this strawberries. Okay. So that so this strawberries will be added at the end of the list. Okay. Now if we call the fruits, you can see that so the strawberries got added at the end of the fruits list. Okay. Fruits dot append. Okay. I have written fruit spelling wrong. That's why I'm getting fruits dot append watermelon. So if you access the fruits, you get so additionally watermelon got added to the fruits. Okay, so like this you can add new elements list which will be added at the end of your list. Okay, and the next method is just a second. Okay, so next method is insert. Okay, so insert is used to add data at particular index. Okay, for example, so by using append, the data is getting added at the end of the list, right? For example, if I want to add the data at the starting of the list, okay, so I want to add an fruit before apple. Okay, so I can do that using fruits dot insert. So you want to mention the index. Okay, so where you want to add that fruit, you want to mention that index. Okay, for example, if I want to add the fruit at the starting position, I have to give the index as 0. Okay, so 0 and the new The fruit name will be pineapple. Okay. So now if we check the fruits, that apple will be not removed. It will just move to the next position. Okay. So if you see here, the pineapple got added at the starting position and the apple got moved to the next position, which is index one. Okay. So like this, you can add an item at whatever the index you decide. Insert. For example, if I want to add the new fruit at index 3, which is currently grapes is located. Okay. So now index 3, I can add. Okay. So now if you call, so you can see that. So at index 3, so previously there is grapes, but now I have added muskmelon. Okay. So like this, you can add elements at whatever index you decide. Okay. If you use append method, those elements directly will get added at the end of the list. Okay. So like this, you can add new elements into your list. And there is one more method called as this extend. Okay. So extend method is used to add uh, sublist. Okay. For example, I have more fruits. Okay. So more fruits. For example, for the okay. For example, I have two more fruits. Now I want to add all these two more fruits to this fruits variable. Okay. I can do that by fruits dot extend add more fruits. Okay. So that these fruits will be added to this existing fruits list element. Okay. Now if I access, see that at the end this jamun and cherries got added. Okay. So like this we can add element set. You can extend another list to the already existing list. Okay. Fruits dot extend. Okay. So like this you can extend. Okay. So if you want to check the length of this list, okay. For example, I want elements are there in this list. I can simply check using len method. Okay. Length of fruits. Okay. I get total 11. Okay. So there are total 11 elements in this list. Okay. Like this, you can insert data into your existing list. Okay. So there are total three methods, which is append. Append is used to add an element at the end of the list. Using insert method, you can add data at your desired index. Okay, and there is extend method. In extend, you can two lists. Okay, so you can add another list into a already existing list using extend method. Okay, so let's move on to next topic. Okay, so yeah, there are how to remove elements. Okay, let's see examples. So previously we have seen append, insert, and extend. Now we have to see about remove, pop, and clear to remove elements. Okay. let's add. Okay, so I have some these numbers. So in this, if I want to remove a particular element, for example, if I want to remove this 234, numbers dot remove 234. Okay, so now if I call the numbers, you can see that so previously there is 234 got removed. Okay, for example, if there are multiple 234s, only the first occurrence of the 234 will be removed. Okay, so let's see that condition as well. So let's modify numbers to 1, 2, 3. Okay, and here I'm adding 1, 2, 3 again. Okay, now if I try to remove, start remove 2, 3. Okay, and now if I call numbers, you can see that at the starting position 1, 2, 3 got removed, but at the ending position 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 still remains. Okay, so only the first occurrence of 1 to 3 will be removed. If you want to remove again 1 to other 1 to 3 also, again you want to run this remove 1 to 3, then that second occurrence will also get removed. Okay, so now you check all the 1 to 3 got removed in the list. Okay, so like this using remove, you can pass the what element you want to remove. So you can pass that element into the and that element will be removed. Okay, so and there is one more method called as pop method. Okay, so pop method what it does is so it will remove the element from the ending position. Okay, for example, numbers dot pop. Okay, so in the current list, so right. So if you enter, so this pop will remove 122 from your list. Okay, and it will return that value. If you want, you can catch this value into a variable. Okay, so which means now if you check the numbers, so previously there are 4 elements, and you can see that after using pop method, the last element got removed. Okay, which is 122. Okay, so now if you into a variable, you can catch remove number equal to numbers dot pop. Okay, so now if you check this, so you can see that so this last number got removed 882. So if you check numbers, you can see that there are only 2 numbers. Okay, so like this you can remove numbers from the end of the list. Okay, and there is one more method called as clear. Okay, so this clear what it does is it will remove all the elements in your list. Okay, so numbers dot clear. Okay, so previously there are 2 elements in your list. If you call this clear method, so all the elements in the list will be cleared. You will get an empty list. Okay, so like this, you can remove elements in your existing list. Okay, so like this, you can add using append, extend, and insert, and you can remove using remove, pop, and clear. Okay, so these are the methods that use it to modify your list data. Okay. Okay, so these are the all the popular methods that are available. We have seen already append. So append adds an element to the end. Okay, insert adds an element at the specified position. Okay, and the remove method removes the first occurrence of an element. Okay, and pop method removes and returns the element at a specified position. Okay, so if you want to, so by default pop removes the last position element. If you want to remove a element at a specific position, you can pass the index. Okay, for example, if I want to delete an item at index 0, you can pass pop of 0. Okay, so that will remove the element at specified position. By default, if you don't provide any index, so it will remove the last element of the index. Okay, and there are two additional methods which is called as sort. Okay, so, sort method sorts the list in place. Okay, and there is reverse method, reverses the list in place. Okay, so these are the popular methods. Let's see them as well and then move on to the next topic. Okay, if you see numbers again, okay, for example, these are the numbers. If I call sort method, okay, so then the numbers will be organized in the ascending order. Okay, so this is the original list. Okay, after calling sort method, so these are ordered in the ascending order. Okay, so if you want to order in the descending order, then was equal to true. Okay, so now the numbers are ordered in the descending order. Okay, same way. So currently now numbers is in this order. Now if you want to reverse the this list, you can use numbers function. Okay, so it will return, it will reverse the numbers into normal original direction. Okay, so like this you can sort and reverse your elements using sort and reverse method. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. Okay, next data structure is tuples. Okay, so a tuple is a immutable ordered sequence of elements. Okay, so tuple is immutable. Immutable in the sense we cannot modify the defined data. Okay, in list we have seen that we are able to add and we are able to remove and we are able to sort, right? But in tuples we cannot do all those things. Okay, the tuple is a fixed data. Uh, so it is, that's why it's called as immutable. Okay, we cannot modify the data. Okay, and this is also ordered sequence of elements, which means it just like lists, tuples also have indexing. Okay, so just like list, tuples also have indexing starting from 0 to the length minus 1, and in the reverse order we can also access elements using negative index. Okay, just like list, tuples also can contain elements of different data types. Okay, the syntax for creating tuples is parenthesis element and the elements if you want to store in that tuple. Okay, the difference between the syntax for tuples and lists is lists are created using square brackets and tuples are used creating parentheses. Okay, so just like the list, you can see you can access those elements using indexes starting at 0. Okay, so on the tuple operations, as we discussed, we cannot modify the data of tuples, but you can concatenate or you can multiply the tuple data. Okay, so let's see examples of this tuples. Okay, so tuple data can be created as English 23. Okay, so like this we can create tuple data, and just like to access the data, we can access using indexing. Okay, so zero indexing will return the first element of your tuple. Okay, so like this, you can access all the elements of your tuple. And say, just like tuples, if you try to access out of range index, you will get an error. For example, if you try to access 3, so I will get tuple index out of range. Okay, so the indexing starts from 0 to length minus 1. Okay, the length of this tuple minus 1. Okay, so which is 0 to 2. Okay, so in the same way, you can access in the reverse order as well using negative indexing. Okay, so you will get the last element by accessing minus 1. Same way, minus 2, minus 3. Okay, so like this, you can access elements in the reversing order. Okay, so in indexing, in forward direction, you get access from index 0. In reverse order, you can access from minus. Okay, so don't confuse with that. Okay, so we cannot modify this data. So which means I cannot change this Mahesh to some Mahesh Babu. Okay, I can only use that Mahesh. Okay, if I want to modify this data, there is only one possibility, which is I can recreate entire data. Okay, then only so I can modify data. I cannot modify that user dot 0 equal to Mahesh Babu. Okay, so I cannot modify like this, but in list I can modify this. For example, I can convert this tuple to list. Okay, by passing the tuple to a list method. Okay, so now if you check this list, you can see, so this is converted into a list, which is in square brackets. Okay, now I can modify this. So at index is right, I can replace it using. Okay, so now the data will be, so the modified data will be, so previously it's just Mahesh, now it got changed to Mahesh Babu. Okay, and now I can change it back to tuple using tuple by passing this user list to tuple. Okay, so now the user will be a tuple with modified data. Okay, I can modify data only by converting into a list. Okay, I cannot modify the original data. If I try to modify the tuple data, I will get an error. Okay, tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay, you will get error as like this. Okay, so tuples are fixed immutable data, so which means you cannot modify the created data. Okay, if you want to modify, you can either replace the entire data. If you want, you can replace your entire data with new data. Okay, so but you cannot modify the data by element wise. Okay, so this is the difference between list and tuple. Okay, and if you want to add additional data, you can add. I mean, that will be modification only. Okay, so you can merge two tuples by passing 1 2 3 1 2 4 comma plus 1 2 5 1 2 6. Okay, so the new tuples will be merged version of these two tuples. Okay, and you can do multiplication operation as well. So in Python, multiplication operation is performed using star symbol. Okay, so 2 star 4 is 8, right? So 2 fours are 8. Okay, 3 star 5 is 15. Okay, 3 15s are 15. Okay, so star symbol is used for performing multiplication in Python. Okay, same way, if I want to multiply tuple into 3 times, which means, so I want to repeat the same 4 elements 3 times. Okay, I can perform that by passing numbers 3. Okay, so then tuple will be produced as, so 1 2 3 1 2 4 1 2 5 1 2 6. Okay, 123, 124, 125, 126. The same sequence got repeated 3 times. Okay, I can do this using this multiplication operation and addition operation. This can also be performed on lists as well. Okay, only like this we can modify data, but we cannot modify the data by element wise. Okay, so that is the difference between lists and tuples. Okay, lists are mutable tuples. Okay. So the next topic is dictionaries. Okay, so a dictionary is an unordered collection of key value pairs. Okay, so dictionaries are not ordered, which means it does not support indexing. Okay, so as we accessed elements using index in lists and tuples, that will does not work in dictionaries. Okay, so here keys must be unique and immutable. So we have a dictionary is a key value pair. Okay, so in that keys must be unique and immutable. Okay, which means you cannot modify the key data. Okay, and values can be of any data type. Okay, and the next dictionary is variable name equal to curly braces, and in this curly braces you have to give pairs of key value pairs. Okay, first one key 1, value 1. Okay, key 2 and value 2. Okay, so this key value be unique names. Okay, and the values can be any data type or any data. Okay, so to create dictionaries we create using curly braces. Okay, and we can access dictionaries using keys. Okay, and we can modify dictionaries. Dictionaries are mutable. Okay, so values can be changed. Okay, unlike tuples data is not changeable, but dictionaries value data is changeable. You can add or update key value pairs using assignment, and you can remove pairs of elements using delete or pop method. Okay, so these are the available methods in dictionaries. Keys returns the values object of all keys. Values returns the values of dictionary values. Items returns the key value pairs, and update returns the you can update, you can merge two dictionaries using update, and clear removes all the items from the dictionary. Okay, so let us see examples of these dictionaries, the detailed explanation. Okay, so dictionaries can be created using key value pairs. Okay, firstly we have to open and curly braces. Okay, in this curly braces I'm storing user details. Okay, for user details, for example, name equal to okay, email equal to tarun@gmail.com. Okay, mobile equal to okay, some number. Okay, so like this, I have created a dictionary. Okay, to access the elements of dictionary, so there is no indexing. Okay, so how to access these elements is by calling the key names. Okay, for example, if I want to access the name data, simply I can access user square brackets name close. Okay, then I can get the name data. Okay, if I want to access mobile data, user mobile call. Okay, so I can get the mobile number. Okay, so like this you can access element data. So previously you used to access data using indexing, but here you can access data using keys. Okay, so these are called as keys. Keys are the address of your data. Okay, and these are the values. Okay, so each element is a key value pair. Okay, here key is name and its value is Tarun. Okay, and here key is the email and its value is the email address. Okay, and here key is the mobile. Okay, and its value is the desired mobile number. Okay, so like this, you can create dictionary as key value pairs, and you can access elements using keys. Okay, now how to modify. Okay, so now I want to change this name. Okay, so to change that name, simply I can call user name equal to. So I want to update this into Tarun Bhaskar. Okay, so now if you check, if you call user dot name, so you can see that previously it's just Tarun, now it's got modified to Tarun Bhaskar. Okay, so if you check user, you can see that here that name got changed to Tarun Bhaskar. Okay, like this you can call the value and you can assign the new value. Okay, so that will modify the actual original value. Okay, same way user dot email equal to. Okay, so if you check, so that email also got updated. Okay, so like this you can modify the existing data using update. Okay, next one is delete. Okay, to delete existing data, for example, I want to delete mobile number data. Okay, so I can do that by calling del keyword, del space user mobile. Okay, so that will delete the mobile section from your dictionary. Okay, so you can see that previously there is mobile key value pair and now that mobile got deleted. Okay, same way you can use pop method as well. So pop method will return the deleted value. For example, if I want to delete email, so I can use user dot pop email. Okay, so it will return the deleted value. If you want, you can catch this into a variable or you can leave it. So it will delete the email, and now if you check the user, you'll have just name and name data. Okay, so like this you can delete either using del keyword or this pop method. Okay, so in pop, instead of passing index or anything, simply have to pass the desired key. Okay, so like this you can delete. Now let's see the all the available other methods in dictionaries. Okay, you have three subjects scores data. Okay, so now if you want to access what are the available subjects in this course, you can access by student scores dot keys. Okay, so if you call the keys method, you will get all the key value data. Okay, so math, science, social. Okay, you get all the key value data. Okay, if you want to access just values, okay, so you can access that using source dot values. Okay, okay, I spelled wrong for scores. Okay, so you will get just the score data. Okay, so like this you can separate your keys data and scores data based on your requirement. If you have that requirement to separate this data, you can do that using keys and values methods. Okay, and if you want this data as a list of tuple pairs, okay, each as a tuple pair, you can do that as well by accessing student scores dot items. So you will get as key value pairs. Okay, list of tuples. Okay, so in this each tuple you will have the subject name and marks name. Okay, subject name, mark name, and subject name, marks name. Okay, so you can access in these three ways based on your requirements. Okay, and if you want to clear all the data in your dictionary, you can do that using clear method. Student course dot clear. Okay, now if you try to access scores, you'll get empty dictionary. Okay, so these are the major methods that are available in dictionary that we use in our daily program. Okay, so with this we have completed data structures. Okay, I've seen all these methods. So the summary of these data structures are that tuples and lists and dictionaries are fundamental data structures in Python, and lists are mutable and ordered. Okay, so and tuples are immutable and ordered. Okay, so in the list data we can modify, but in tuples data we cannot modify. Okay, and but both are ordered, which are indexed. Okay, and dictionaries are mutable, which means dictionaries are changeable, but unordered, which means these are not indexed. Okay, and the data in dictionaries are stored as key value pairs. Okay, if you want to retrieve data, you have to retrieve data using keys. Okay, our next topic will be control structures. Okay, so control structures determine the flow of a program. Okay, there are three types of control structures: sequential, okay, selection or decision making, and repetition, which are called as loops. Okay, so for example, if you are doing a programming task, in that programming task, you may have a scenario that if one condition satisfies your requirement, then you have to do one particular thing. Else, you have to do other particular thing. For example, a user is getting logged into a social media application. For example, a user is trying to log in into Facebook. Okay. So if you are trying to log into Facebook and you are giving your email address and password, right? So when that email address and password are correct, and only you will be redirected to your profile page. Okay. Else you will stay in the same page and you will ask to re-enter the password or email and password, right? So this is happening because of the control structure. Okay, so here we are controlling the flow of programming. Okay, only if the condition, only then you are going to the next task. Okay, if that condition does not satisfy, that's not going to the next task. Okay, this is control using control statements. Okay, so this topic is about those control statements. In that control statements, the first thing is if statement. Okay, so if statement is used to execute a block of code if a condition is true. Okay, and the syntax is if space the condition you want to put colon and the decide statements. Okay, let's see how to create if statements. Okay, so if statements are like, for example, and this is the flow, and here I'm having a condition. Okay, true. So I will move on to, I will execute some block of code. Okay, if this condition is not satisfied, so I will do nothing. Okay, so that is if statement. Okay, and the syntax is if condition colon. Okay, and in this we use the desired block of code. So in other languages, so to declare block of code, we use parentheses, right? For example, in other languages, if condition, okay, we will open block of code using parentheses and we'll write the code. Okay, but in Python, it does not use parentheses for this. It will use indentation. Okay, it is called as indentation, and this indentation is just spaces. Okay, so the desired recommended spaces are 4 spaces. Okay, to separate a block of code, instead of using parentheses in Python, we use indentation, and this indentation is 4 spaces. But in learning purpose, you can use uh, minimum 1 space. Okay, so minimum 1 space is accepted, but you have to follow the same space counting in your entire block. Okay, but if you are using any code editors like VS Code, okay, or any other Sublime Text or any other editor. So these spaces will be automatically added. You don't have to add manually. So you want to add these spaces manually only in this IDLE. Okay. In this learning purpose environment only, you have to add spaces manually. If you are using a code editor like VS Code or Eclipse or any Python, so those spaces will be automatically added. You don't have to worry about. But this is called as indentation. Okay. And in other languages, we use parentheses. So let's see how to create if loops, if statements in Python. So for example, if okay, if 23 is greater than 12. Okay. So here we have entered to the block of code, right? So in this block of code, we have to follow the spaces. Okay. So the recommended spaces are 4 spaces, but you can use minimum 1 space. Print condition satisfied. Okay. So your condition is I'm checking whether 23 is greater than 12 or not. Okay, so if condition satisfied, I will get this print statement as condition satisfied. If this condition fails, I get nothing. Okay, so here after pressing enter, I got output as condition satisfied. Okay, now if I check for if that 55 is greater than 100. Okay, so now I'm checking for condition is 5. Okay, so now after pressing enter, I get nothing because this condition fails. Okay, here the condition is 55 greater than 100 or not. Okay, so here 55 is not greater, it didn't got permission to access to execute this data. Okay, so if this condition fails, the Python interpreter will not execute this code. Okay, simply it will skip to the next block of code. Okay, so in real world, so this condition will be like, for example, username equal to Ramesh, password equal to 1234. So here if username equal to Ramesh and password 234, I will get message as login successful. Okay, so here I got message as login successful. Okay, so if this condition fails, for example, I have entered wrong password. Okay, so now I get nothing. Okay, so like this you can check the conditions using if statements. By checking the condition, you can control the flow of your program. If the user correctly enters the desired details, he will redirect to the desired page. Else, he will stay in the same page. Okay, you get nothing. Okay, so these are if statements. So using these if statements, you can control the flow of your program. Okay, without flow, there will be no desired outputs. Okay, and there are if-else statements. Okay, so previously we have seen that. So if a condition satisfies, what we should do is what we see. Okay, but if that condition fails, what should we do? Okay, so in previous scenario, if condition fails, we are doing nothing, right? Simply we are moving on to next block. Okay, but you want to respond, right? For example, if a condition fails, I want to say that something got failed. Okay, in that case, we can use else statement. Okay, so if condition satisfies, you will execute that code. Okay, but in the case that if the condition fails, what should I do? Okay, in that can be done in this else statement. Okay, so this else statement executes when this condition got failed. Okay, so let's see an example on that as well. So now, for now, you have seen how to write uh, code in this ideally. Now let's create code in code editors. So which is I'm opening VS Code. Okay, so in this VS Code, I am creating a file. Okay, if else.py. Okay, I'm creating if else.py file. Okay, so in this if else.py file, I'm writing my first code. So else, okay, so if 44 is greater than 33, print condition satisfied. Okay, so if this condition fails, I'm using else statement. So here you can see that after pressing enter, it is automatically adding the four spaces. Okay, you don't have to worry about these four spaces. Okay, but if you are using ideally, you want to manually add, you don't get any syntax errors. Okay, print condition fail. Okay, now to enter to execute this code, you can use a run symbol in your editor or manually run this file by python space file name. Okay, file name if underscore else dot py. Okay, here you can see that I got output as condition satisfied. Okay, because 44 is greater than 33. Okay, now I'm changing this condition to 88. Okay, now 44 is greater than 88. I'm checking. Okay, so now if I execute this, so I'll get condition failed. Okay, because so this condition got failed, so this code execute. Okay, so when this condition got failed, it will move on to the else statement. Okay, then else statement will execute. In this else statement, I have condition failed. Okay, so the same scenario can be used in real world application as username Rakesh pin 234 if username equal to Rakesh and pin 234 column print login successful. Okay, so else failed, you can print as invalid username or pin. Okay, so now if you execute the page, you can see that you are getting login successful because both username and pin are matched to the original data. Okay, now if you modify the data, Rakesh, okay, I'm entering wrong name by adding additional h. Now if I execute, output as invalid username or pin. Okay, so like this, in the real world scenario, like this, the conditions are checked in the backend of your any website. Okay, so using statements, you will control the flow. Okay, so if this statement is correct, so he will move on to the this profile timeline. If the data is wrong, he will stay in the same page and ask you to re-enter the username and password until he correctly enter the data statements. So next, so we have seen if else, and there is else if. Okay, so elif other language it's called as else if. In Python it's called as elif, which is used to check multiple conditions. Okay, in previous scenario we had checked one condition, and if that condition failed, we are printing the error message, right? But in some scenarios they may have different conditions. Okay, so to check multiple conditions we use if and elif. Okay, so if this condition, here you can see the syntax. In the first statement you can see if condition. So if this if condition satisfies, it will execute the code in this block and it will move on to the next code. Else, if this condition fails, if we use elif, it will check this condition, second condition. Okay, if first condition fails, it will check for the second condition. If this second condition satisfies, it will execute the code given in this block. Okay, if second condition also fails, then it will move on to the else block. Okay, so here instead of just one, we are checking multiple conditions. Okay, so for that purpose we use elif. Okay, in other languages it is called as else if. In Python it's called as elif. Okay, so let's see a scenario about this application, this example as well. So here I'm creating another page, elif.py. Okay, so in this elif, okay, for example, I'm having a number as, so till now we have seen how to print a number to the output, right? So if you want to accept an output, so using print statements, I'm able to print numbers, right? Hello world. Okay, so now I want to accept input from the user. Okay, to accept input from the user by calling number sorry, so a normal variable name and input. Okay, so here I can give enter a number. Okay, and that entered number will be stored in this number. Okay, so let's see print number. let's say your third number is number. Okay, so now if I run this file, so it will ask to enter a number. Okay, so here I want to enter the number. Okay, now so this entered number is collected into this variable. Okay, and I am able to the output. Okay, so here I got output as your entered number is 44, but there is a issue with that. So the data we are accepting through input is always a string data. Okay, so whatever input here, the data uh, will be accepted as a string data. If you check that type number, okay, so now if I run that, so if I enter the number, so you can see that type of data is we require an integer data. Okay, in that case, we can convert this input into integer by passing to int method. Okay, so like this, you can convert this int data to sorry, the string data to integer by passing this input method to int method, so that you will get actual number. Okay, so that we can compare this data. Okay, now I am accepting a number from the user, and now I will do the if statements. Okay, so if number is greater than 50, print greater than 50. Okay, so if this condition fails, I want to check second condition. If elif number greater than 100, print greater than. Okay, so there will be an issue. So all the numbers will be filtered in this condition itself. So let's come to the decreasing order so that we can properly 50 greater than 50. Okay, else, so if both condition fails, print less than. Okay, so let's include 100 as well, greater than or equal to 50. Okay, so first I'm asking an user to enter a number. So I'm checking whether that entered number is greater than 50 or less than or 50. Okay, by placing multiple conditions. Okay, if this first condition satisfies, so greater than 100 and it will stop. So if the first condition fails, it will check for the second condition. If the second condition satisfies, it will stop. If both condition fail, it will print this last print statement. Okay, so let's check multiple scenarios. So I'm entering a number 1000. Okay, so here you can see that previously the entered data is string, but we have converted the data into integer by passing that through. We are getting int value. Okay, so the output, so first condition 1000 greater than 100 satisfied, right? So I'm getting greater than 100. Okay, so let's check for second scenario. In second scenario, I'm entering 77. Okay, so in 77, so the first condition fails, right? 77 greater than 100 is not true. Okay, so it will move on to the second condition. So the second condition is 77 greater than 50. Okay, it's satisfied. Okay, so that's why we are getting output as greater than 50. Okay, so let's check for third scenario where all the condition fails. Okay, I'm checking out 8. Okay, here you can see that less than or equal to 50. Okay, so which is 8 is less than 50, so that's why, so both condition fail. So 8 is not greater than 100 and 8 is not. both condition failed, we got else statement. Okay, so this else statement is optional, not compulsory. If you want to print, you can print, else you can use just if and else. If you want to use multiple if also, you can use like number greater than print greater than 25. Okay, so you can use all the conditions. Okay, so if you enter 26, you get greater than 25. If you enter 9, you get failed all conditions. Okay, so like this, you can control the flow of your program using LF statements. If you want to check for multiple conditions, you can do that, but make sure that condition is in the proper order. Okay, for example, if I use 50 in the first place and 100 in the first place, so first condition satisfies for all the conditions. For example, 50 here, so it will satisfy greater than 100 condition as well, greater than 50 condition as well. It will also satisfy greater than 100 condition as well, because the number 100 are also greater than 50, right? So that's why you should make sure the proper order of placing different conditions. Okay, so here this is in descending order so that it will properly filter the conditions. Okay, so the next one is nested if statements. So if you want to include double if statements, which means an if statement in an if statement, you can do that as well. So this is also one type of checking multiple conditions. Okay, so that also can be achievable. So nested ifs are, for example, if condition, okay, I'm taking some real world scenario. So if payment done equal to true, payment done, okay, and I want to check the payment type. If payment type equal to card. So here I am using an if statement inside an if statement. Okay, so this is statements. Okay, and print, 'cause your order is ready to ship. So else, if payment is not done, payment failed, return. Okay, so this is a real world scenario. For example, if you are placing an order on Amazon, okay, so and you have done your payment, and it will check the conditions like if payment done. Okay, you'll get messages payment done, and it will check the type of payment, whether it's card payment, UPI payment, cash on delivery, or what. Okay, and you will print the respective message, and you will get the success message as your order is ready to ship. Okay, if payment failed, you get payment failed message. Okay, so here, if one condition satisfied, I have other multiple conditions. Okay, in that scenario, I can use this nested if statements. Okay, so now if I run this, okay, so here I got messages payment done through UPA, your order is ready to ship. Okay, so if I tell this condition as false, if payment failed, so now if I run, I will get payment failed, retry again. Okay, so like this, you can control the flow in this type of scenario. Okay. So these are called as nested if statements. So if you have any confusion or doubt, you can ask at any time. Okay, don't hesitate to ask doubts. Okay. Topic is for loop. Okay, let's continue these topics on tomorrow's class. Okay, so we have already passed our 30 minutes session. Okay, so let's continue other topics on tomorrow's session. Okay, so in this class, I say have any doubts, you can ask. Any doubts? Okay, so let's continue tomorrow. Thank you.